officially everyone to this program because we started again. We did it last year, but this season we're so excited to have our new program next season with the Junior NBA Referee Online Clinics through OWQLO. We had such a great reply from everyone across the world, and they were asking us actually quite a bit when are we going to come back with this. As you know, all the referees, every time we have like coaching clinics, player clinics, camps, coaching, however, they always ask for something specifically for referees. And we're so glad that you're joining us. First off, let me just say we're super excited to have a great official with us today with a great expertise in the NBA refereeing world. And we're very happy to welcome Mark Wunderlich with us today. And thank you so much for joining, Mark. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me, Adrian. I'm excited.
Yeah, so are we. Thank you again. And just, I know it's going to be super long because we have such a big background, but I'm going to try to go quick. Let me just, as background, just give a quick few items that I have right here. So Mark Wunderlich is fifth season as a member of the NBA Referees Development and Performance Group for the Junior NBA and NBA. He was an official from 1999 to 2010, working 1,100 regular season games and 80 playoff games, including 2 final games. That's amazing. And he also worked to NBA All-Star games. And prior to joining the NBA, Gundelich worked as the CBA from 97 to 99, officiating 125 regular season games and 25 playoff games, including 5 finals. And Wunderlich was inducted to the Delaware County chapter of Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame in 2015. That's amazing. He currently is the Vice President of Referee Operations at the National Basketball Association. I try to go as quick as possible, but again, it's such a long resume. It's amazing, impressive, Mark.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I got to say that it was amazing seeing you a few weeks back in Milan as you were sharing all the information and expertise with all the local referees that were there with us at Basketball Without Borders. That was amazing.
So much fun. So much fun.
It was super good. So just, I don't want to steal any more of your time because I know you have plenty of information that you want to share with everyone. Again, we have all the videos ready, and I'll just pass it on to you and let us know whatever, any kind of like movement that you want us to do, stop, play, forward, any addition, and we'll be right here for you.
Thank you, Adrian. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining. This is exciting times for me and for our department to be able to get involved in this, to be able to gather all the information that the NBA referees get through training, and to be able to get on these Zoom calls set up by Adrian and be able to scatter that information to you people is so exciting to us. And we just want to explain exactly how we do things, our system, what our approach is. So we work a three-person system. We have disciplines within inside that system. And those disciplines are where you stand, where you look, and the order in which you look. So we really hold people accountable to be disciplined inside our system. And in those disciplines, we believe that when you have disciplines and you do disciplines over and over and over again, they become habits. So we're discipline driven, and eventually through that discipline, our referees create habits inside our system that make us productive to see plays, discern plays, and call plays correctly. Okay? So what we have a list of plays here today, and we're going to go over them, and I'm going to try and go slow and give you some ideas why we do things and the reason we do things. And hopefully by the time this phone call is over, this Zoom call is over, we can get incrementally better. Everybody can just get a little bit better, because if that happens, that will mean a lot to me, because that's why I'm here. I want to make everyone on this phone call just a little bit better, to understand why we do things, our approach, and maybe you can then put it into your game and then see some growth and some improvement as you move forward in your refereeing career. Because what I'm here for is to hold the ladder for you, Okay. I want to hold the ladder for you to walk as many rungs as you can up on that ladder. And I want to be the guy underneath you holding that ladder, supporting you as you take each step up that ladder. Okay, Adrian, we can get started on the first play.
First game.
If everybody can see the video.
Perfect.
Okay. If Adrian, just hold it right there. One of the things that we really, really, really expect and challenge our officials to do is to work really hard from trail to lead, to run really hard from the trail position to the lead position. Because in the NBA and in the G League, in the BAL, the WNBA, we have a lot of early offense. A lot of shots are taken early in the shot clock because teams are pitching the ball ahead quickly and shooting a lot of volume threes and driving to the basket. So we really, really ask, the one thing we always look for is a referee to show effort from the trail position to the lead position. And as you can see here at the top left of your screen, you can see our official, Mitchell Irvin, working hard to get to the baseline on this early offense play. You can run it. And if you freeze it right there, what we also expect is our lead to be at least halfway. We do not like our lead position to be too tight. So we did an analysis through our analytic department, and we found out that when we are our basketball court is 94 by 50. So from the front of the rim to the sideline, it's 25 feet. We found out when we are 10 to 12 feet out away from the center of the rim, halfway, we are much more accurate than when we are 9 feet and in. Our accuracy really drops when we get too tight in the lead. So we like our officials to be halfway, like Mitchell is here. You can see Mitchell, he's halfway, and he has a nice big picture, and he doesn't narrow himself by getting too tight. So we like our lead officials to be wide and be able to pick up a big view here, like Mitchell's doing. So he hustled to the baseline. He got into a still and stationary position because of his effort, got wide. And when you get wide and still and stationary, when you're running, your eyes bounce. But when you're still and stationary, your eyes are settled. So we like to get to positions and be still and stationary to discern plays. If you can move on. So right here, Mitchell has an offensive foul, and we'll run it back right there. If you freeze it, you'll see the seal by that white defender. Mitchell is off ball seeing that defender. He sees the illegal seal. He's nice and wide. It's an illegal screen, and he calls an offensive foul. Seal, he's on that defender, sees that illegal screen. He's nice and wide to see the play. If you just run it back, he's nice and wide to see the play, and is able to call the offensive foul. So if we get back to what I started the program with, you just hold that there, Adrian, that'd be great. We talked about disciplines and disciplines becoming habits. So the discipline of Mitchell to run hard from trail to lead became a habit for Mitchell. He does it every time. Mitchell to be wide, at least halfway to the sideline and not too tight in the lead, is a discipline, and it became a habit. And he does it every time down. And because he does that, because he has these disciplines that have turned into habits, he is now a very effective and efficient play caller. Because he does it every possession of every quarter, of every game, of every schedule, of every season. He never takes time off to do something different. His approach is the same every time. Hustle from trail to lead, get wide in the lead, try and get a big picture to find the secondary defenders on plays to the basket to see who's rotating, and call illegal acts such as screening or fouls at the basket on the defender. Are there any questions concerning that first play? There's a lot to unpack there. There was a lot talked about, but I hope you all understand what our points of development are in that section. If not, we can move on. We okay? Okay, next play. So this is something I want all you to understand in the lead position when it comes to play calling. You can run this, right, Adrian? Please, I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, freeze it right there, if you could. The lead is in a nice wide position. What he has to do, he has the primary defender who is now beaten. So he has to sequence his eyes to the secondary defender, number 46. So what happens in the NBA, when the primary defender is beaten, we ask the lead to then sequence his eyes. So look, if you look at me on the screen, I'm on that defender. He's now beaten. And I sequence my eyes to the secondary defender, who's the one that's going to defend the play at the rim because the primary defender is beaten. And the trail will stay with the backside defender and give me backside support. So on this play, the lead sequences his eyes and is able to get to the secondary defender and judge the legality of the play and this legal verticality. So if you run it, if Adrian, just run it forward, if you could, it's verticality, the defender is legal. But what I want you to notice here, as we move forward, I freeze it right here. Freeze it right there, Adrian. I want you to notice the referee, Eric. He's wide. And watch his eyes. He will go from white shirt to white shirt. He does not go white shirt, number 3, white shirt. What he does, he lifts his eyes over the offensive player and goes defender to defender. So when you're refereeing in the lead and the offensive player beats that primary defender, do not stop in the middle and watch the dribbler. By going defender to defender, you can pick up a full second and get to the secondary defender earlier. What we believe in the NBA and all our leagues is the longer you're on that defender, the slower that play will be and easier to discern. The shorter time you're on that player, the more difficult it is to discern that play. So Eric does a great job here of watching. If you just watch his eyes in the lead, if you can see him, he will go from white shirt to white shirt and get to that number 43, that secondary defender, early to judge his legality. Now, in any basketball league you officiate, there are three ways teams defend the basket. They coach their players 3 ways. The first way is they have a shot blocker. The second way is they take a lot of block charges. And the third way is they play through verticality and make teams play through legal contact. So the 3 ways are shot blocker, block charge, verticality. We, as officials, have to be good at all 3. And by going defender to defender here and not stopping in the middle for a full second and watching the dribbler, we can now get to the secondary defender early and judge his legality and judge verticality and allow good defense to be rewarded. So I'll let Adrian run it through, and I want you guys to all you people to all soak this in, okay? Watch Eric, defender to defender. He gets to him early, perfect verticality, excellent no call. If you could just run that, just stop right there. So the theme is our disciplines. The lead is wide. He has good discipline. He lifts his eyes from white shirt to white shirt, defender to defender. He doesn't go white shirt, white shirt with his eyes. He sequences his eyes from defender to defender to get that defender earlier, to see the play longer, to make the play slower. Being a good play caller, you're not born a good play caller. A good play caller works on his craft and has these ways of getting to defenders early and getting to people, and becomes innately, they become good play callers by good habits, through good discipline, by good positioning, and by sequencing their eyes to people early. Okay? So when people say to you, well, he's a really good play caller, or she's a really good play caller, there's reasons why Scott Foster is a really good play caller. There's a reason why Eric Lewis is a really good play caller. Because habitually, their habits are good, because they have good disciplines. Their positioning is good because they're always in good position to see the play. And they watch plays in the right order, so they're able to call plays correctly. Okay? All right, so here's the next play. So if you can freeze it there, Adrian. Based on our system, the slot would have that primary defender there that's on the ball, because the ball is outside lane line. The lead, knowing that the slot is on that defender, would look for the secondary defender who is coming over, okay? So when you're in the lead or in any position, the trail or the slot, you have to make decisions with inside your primary. People have never talked to you about this, but you have different people that you need to referee, different people that you need to decide on. Do I watch him? Do I watch her? Who do I go to? Okay? So when you're in the lead and on a driving play where that primary defender is beaten, always look for the defender that is moving first, rotating first. That is your tell to get to that defender early. So first movement will always be your tell in the lead when you're trying to make a decision on who to referee. So when the primary defender is beaten, and as he's beaten here, you'll see that rotating defender come, his first movement, and you'll see Natalie in the lead pick up that movement of that first movement by the rotating defender, and she's on that defender. If you let it run out. Now she has a block, which it is, but the slot calls an offensive foul. That's why we would like the lead to call that play, because we believe who's ever on that defender the longest has the best chance to call the play correctly. So that was an incorrect call because the slot had bad discipline and bad habits, because he was on the primary defender and he got to the secondary defender late and called a charge where the lead was on that secondary defender the whole time and was going to call a block. So I'm showing you good and bad. So that's a bad discipline by the slot. We want the slot to trust the lead, who has seen that defender the longest, to call the play. We believe when the official who sees the play the longest has the best opportunity to call the play correctly. And we believe that people who get to the defender later are not as accurate as people who get the defenders early. Okay? And the way we explain it to NBA referees is, if you give me one of your favorite movies you ever watched, right, and you only watched the last 10 minutes of that movie, and somebody else watched the whole movie, the person that watched the whole movie could tell you more about that movie than the person that only saw the last 10 minutes of it. So in officiating, we want the official who sees the entire movie to call the play, and not the official that only sees the last piece of a play to call the play. And that's why we try and train and discipline our people on not calling plays like that, but we do make errors. We're not perfect, and we're not perfect, but we shoot for excellence, and it happens on occasion, and it's going to happen again here. So we have back-to-back plays where the slot will show bad discipline. We would like the lead to call this play. So before Adrian starts this play, I want you to put yourself in the lead position, make a decision in your primary, look for who's moving first and who's rotating first, who you would go to as a lead official, what defender, and train your eyes through video so next time you're on the court, you can apply. Okay, here we go. There's the first movement. See that defender? The lead has a foul. The slot has a foul. See that first movement by the defender? The lead's on him. That's your tell. Anytime there's a rotating defender, see him come, the lead's on him. Gets to him early. He's able to see it and call a blocking foul. So let's just go back. Yeah, here we go again. Just watch the first movement of that defender. Watch the lead. See the first movement? So when you're in the lead and you're trying to make a decision on who to referee, there he comes. Get to him. He jumps A to B, right? So just put yourself in the lead position. There he comes. Get to him, right? And train your eyes through video. Just hold right there, Adrian. Train your eyes through video that when you're trying to make a decision in the lead and that primary defender is beaten and you're trying to make a decision who to referee, it will be that first movement. The defender who moves first will always be the defender that's going to try and protect the rim. And remember, verticality is jumping from the same spot and landing in the same spot. Okay? Illegal contact is jumping A to B or A to C or A to D. But you cannot jump A to B and be legal or A to C. Verticality is jumping and landing in the same spot. So when you're officiating that defender and you get to him or her early, watch for him to jump. Is he jumping and landing in the same spot, or is he drifting into the offensive player and creating illegal contact? And by doing so, you'll be able to discern the play and call the play correctly by watching first movement, getting to that defender early, and judging the play based on is he vertical or moving A to B. So I'll stop it right there. So I'll just recap a little bit here. So in the lead position, for those taking notes, okay, we're just going to go slow here. We like to see you halfway between the basket and the sideline because we did a lot of analytical analysis and we realize our best play calling is done at the halfway point. We don't like to see it too tight because it limits your angles. 2, when you're in the lead position and the primary defender is beaten and you're looking to see who to referee, always go to the defender that moves first, okay, who's rotating first. Try and get to that defender early to make the play slower, to make the play longer in your eyes, and able to process the play and discern the play at a mind where you can get to a point where you can just focus in on a play. Thirdly, try and get to a still and stationary position to judge plays. Try and avoid late movement by position adjusting early so you can settle your eyes, because when you're moving, your eyes are bouncing around and it's not as easy to see. So get to a position on the floor, as you've seen with our lead officials, how they're all still and stationary, judging the legality of the defender, and they're able to see either he's vertical, A to B, and he's able to make decisions based on the fact that his eyes are still. So here's an analogy. When you're on a treadmill and you're running on a treadmill and you're watching TV and there's subtitles on the TV and you're running on a treadmill, it's really hard to see the subtitles because your eyes are bouncing around. Now, if you're watching that same movie and you're sitting on the couch and you're still in stationary, your mind is a lot easier to read those subtitles. So that's why I like to see you still in stationary when you referee. Get into a still and stationary position, get to an open look, get to your defenders early, and settle your mind to make the proper decision on plays to the basket. Okay? Is there any questions with any of that? I gave you a lot. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack. Like I told you early, everything I gathered in my life, I want to scatter. And I want to just do as much. So I know that these ICs are coming from the slot on weak side drives. Yes, because he is, what happens is he's getting that defender later. That's why we would like the lead to call the play. Very good question, Todd. Yes, because what happens is, like we talked about, he's on that primary defender, and then he transfers his eyes to that secondary defender that our lead has been on. And like we said earlier, we would like the person on the play the longest to call the play, okay? And this will be another example of this. Now, this play will be called correctly, okay? But the lead will be on the defender longer than the slot, okay? All right, and you'll see it here. And we like to have this play also come from the lead because the lead is on the defender long. Now, watch the first movement of the defender trying to take the block charge. We talked about 3 ways they did protect the rim, right? Yes, the previous play was correct. Yes, it was correct. Yes. All right, here we go. So freeze it right. If you can freeze right on the catch, Adrian. I'm sorry. Right on the catch. Right when he catches the ball in the corner. You just freeze it right there. Freeze it. So the slot official is on that primary defender. You see him? See the lead official's head on number 21? She has trained her eyes not to look out here. She is on the secondary defender in the lane early to see his legality. The slot is on primary defender. All right, so if you run it, she's on that defender. She calls the offensive foul, and that's where we'd like the lead to call the play because she's been on that defender the longest. She sees the first movement. She's able to judge the offensive foul. So put yourself in the lead. There he comes. That's your tell. You get to him early. You call offensive foul. If you run that back one more time, Adrian, I want you to see it from the overhead. If you could just run that. So we just go through all the things we talk about. Freeze it right there. So the lead's going to go to that secondary defender. The slot has to stay attached to 31, right? Because he's engaged, and the lead is able to pick up the secondary defender and call the offensive foul correctly. All right, so she's wide in the lead. We'd like to see her a little wider, if she could be. She reads the helping defender by watching first movement of a rotating defender. She gets to that defender early, judges that defender's legality based on the fact that the play is longer because she got to the defender early. It's slower because her mind settles because she sees more of the play, and she's able to make the correct offensive foul call because she has good disciplines that have turned into good habits. She does it. She works this way every time she's in the lead position. She'll work this way every time. There's your first movement. She's on that defender. And that's how it's done. Okay? So let's freeze it there for 1 second. So like I said earlier, these are all disciplines with your eyes. And when you have disciplines and you do disciplines over and over and over again, they become habits. And then what happens in your officiating career, you'll just be doing them naturally. You won't even be thinking about it. It'll just be your discipline will become a habit, and your habit will be about a part of your approach. And it'll be who you are as an official, someone that the coaches and players and all the participants can really rely on. All right. And especially if there was no active matchup. I totally agree. Very well said. Okay, next play. So here, the lead is in rotation. He's trying to get to the secondary defender. But the slot, if you freeze it right there, Adrian, the slot stays attached to that secondary defender. And then what he does, he will sequence to the point of contact. And I want to go over the point of contact with all of you. So on this play, you'll see the drive to the basket, and you'll see the defender try and go up and contest the play. You can run it forward. Gasol comes up short and hits him on the arm. The lead is blocked by the corner of the backboard and can't see the point of contact, but the slot or new trail stays home and stays engaged on the play. And I want to talk to you about this session right here about point of contact. Okay, that's point of contact right there, if you could leave it right there. Point of contact is where the defender hits the offensive player. That is illegal. Okay, so on this play, the defender does not have enough lift to get to ball height. So when you judge this play, you judge his hand. Is his hand below ball height or is it above ball height? When it's below ball height and there's a possibility of being a foul. If it's above ball height, the possibility will block the ball. Okay, and as this play, as you can see, Gasol is below ball height on Leonard and commits illegal contact. So let's talk about point of contact. When you're officiating, and we train all our NBA referees, our G League referees, our WNBA referees the same way. Try and identify the point of contact just prior to it occurring. So when you see Gasol go up with his hand, get to his hand right away here so you can see that. Don't wait until it hits to judge it. Find his hand. Find what part of his body is going to commit the illegal act. If there's a drive to the basket and there's a body, they're up against bodies. Watch his body to see if he's checking his body. On verticality, get to him early to see if he's floating A to B or drifting A to B. But find the point of contact just prior to it occurring. Don't wait for the point of contact to find you. Find it early. When you get to point of contact early, you're able to see it and focus in on it, and then you can aim small and miss small. And that's what Kane does here in the slot. He does an excellent job of getting to the point of contact early, identifying it, and calling the play because the lead is closed because of the corner of the backboard he can't see. So if you run it through again, I want you to train your eyes on getting to Marc Gasol early and finding a point. I want you to find a point of contact right now. Hand. Is he ball height? Is he going to get their ball height? No. That's what I want you to train your eyes to do. Can you run that back one more time, Adrian? I want you to train your eyes on Marc Gasol and get to the point of contact early. Get to it. Don't wait for it to happen. Get to it right now. Get to it early. Get to it right now. And then you can judge if he has enough lift to get to the arm or get to the ball. I need you to train your eyes to find the point of contact early, identify it early, get to it, see it, and see if he blocks the shot legally or if he comes up short and commits an illegal act. And that is done by identifying the point of contact prior to the point of contact occurring. Don't let the point of contact occur and surprise you. Because I can just tell you, in my 22-year career, I spent a lot of times running down the court going, that point of contact surprised me. I got to it late, and the person got hit, and I didn't call a foul because I wasn't there early. I waited for the person to get hit, and then I saw the play instead of seeing his hand here and being ready to call a play. Every good play caller in all our leagues, our most efficient and most accurate play callers are people that find and identify the point of contact prior to it occurring. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Any questions? Should have stayed home. Yeah, Lee could have stayed home. Yes. Todd, this is an excellent question by Todd. So let's just talk about rotations. We like to, in the NBA, our mechanics, we like to see two officials on the strong side, which is strong side to us is ball side. So we'd like to have two officials lead and trail on the strong side on drives. But if there's three immediates that you don't want to rotate to, okay, and these are the three immediates. Immediate drive, which Todd is saying, nice job, helped by trail, but shouldn't have stayed home when the drive started to come. Correct. You do not run or rotate into drives. So if you are about to see an immediate drive, stay home. Don't rotate. 2, if you're going to see an immediate shot, do not rotate because then it screws up our rebounding coverage. So stay home on an immediate drive, an immediate shot. And the third one is if there's an immediate pass into the post in the center of the lane, stay home. Do not rotate. Drive, shot, post entry. Drive, shot, post entry. Do not rotate in the lead. Stay home so we can be what? Still and stationary with our eyes to judge the play. Did you notice that our lead was moving? His eyes were bouncing. He couldn't see through the corner of the board, but our slot, who would become our new trail, was still and stationary in a perfect position to get to the point of contact early and see and able to call the illegality of the play. Excellent question, Todd. I appreciate you chiming in there so we could review reasons when not to rotate. But throughout the game, we do like to see you rotate when you can, when the ball comes to a pause, to try and get two officials on the strong side of the ball. Does everybody understand that? We like people rotating. We don't want you to stay home. When the ball pauses, we like to see you come. But if there's three immediates, drive, shot, pass to the post, we want you to stay home. Really appreciate you, Todd, for chiming in there. Next play. Okay, freeze it. If you get right there. Okay. When you're in the slot or the center, I don't know what your terminology is for a slot or center. When you have stationary players that are not moving, they're still in stationary, go to the next action matchup where you can find players in motion. If you have stationary players and you're watching stationary players in your primary, they can't hurt you. What you have to do then is sequence to the next action area and find most players in motion. So in the slot here, the slot has two stationary players in his area. He has to make a decision with inside his primary. These two players are stationary and cannot hurt him. They're not engaged. They're still. So what he does, he expands his coverage to the players in motion. Number 3 in white to the center of the floor, and he's able to pick up this hold. Let it run. Okay. These players are in motion. Action matchup. He calls the play for the trail, who's on ball, can't see it, because he makes a decision in his primary that he's going to go to motion players because he's not going to referee stationary players in his primary that are not engaged. Okay? So we talk about decisions with inside our primary, making good decisions, the lead, who do I go to, first movement, right? The slot. Well, if I have still and stationary players, I'm not going to referee two people that can't hurt me. I'm going to assist my crew and go to the action matchup where I can find players in motion. Players in motion are more apt to commit an illegal act than stationary players. It's through our analytics that have proven that. So what we do is we train our officials to have awareness of our stationary players, but then check off them and get to the action area with players in motion. So if you're in a slot or you're in the lead or you're in the trail and you're off ball and you don't have the ball in your area and you have stationary players, go find players in motion so you can help your crew and you help your team get these plays that maybe they can't see. And Derek Collins does an excellent job here of identifying players that are stationary in his primary and picking up this illegal hold in the center of the floor for the trail by assisting his crew by having good disciplines and good habits to know when to make a good decision with inside his primary. So let's run it again. He checks off. He has stationary players. They're not engaged. Goes to the center of the floor, is able to pick up the hold. Remember, find players in motion. Do not referee stationary players, especially if they're not engaged. Okay? Here we go. This one's a little grainy. All right, so freeze it right here. So the trail, the lead is on the primary defender with the long sleeve white shirt right there, right? The trail is on the digging down defender, closing in here, right? He's responsible for that defender. The lead is on the defender with the long white sleeves. So as this defender reaches in, we talked about point of contact, okay? So we want to get to the point of contact early. So when you see this play and you see him reach in, I want you all to identify it early, to get to it early. So when you're refereeing, you train your eyes to do the same thing on the floor. You can run it, Adrian. And then I'll have a good replay. I want you to train right now. I want you to go to his hands. Go to his hands. Go to his hands. Boom. Don't wait for the point of contact. Go to his hands right now. Go to his hands. Go to his hands. Go to his hands. Let it run. Just get to his hands. Okay? Get to his hands. Get to his hands. Get to his hands. Get to his hands. Always get to his hands early. All right? Try and get to the point of contact as soon as you can. All right? Train your eyes. Train your eyes. Get to his hands. Get to his hands. Okay. On reach-ins, if you get 97% of it, 95% of it, you see most of it, right? But you don't see all of it, right? You see most of it. One of the tells is on a reach-in, a contextual clue, a clue that will tell you that he did not get the ball and got his wrist, is when a ball comes out like a knuckleball. It floats out. If you could go back to that play, Adrian, the ball floats out like a knuckleball. That's a tell that he got hit on his wrist. So just watch the flight of the ball. There's a tell that he hits his wrist because the ball floats out like a knuckleball. Watch it float. See it? Float in the air. No spin. Gets him on the wrist. Point of contact. If a defender would get ball, the ball would come out with more spin. It would come out like this if he got the front of the ball. If he gets his wrist, it will come out like a knuckleball. So if you got like, you're 95% sure that he fouled him, but you're not 100% sure, use a contextual clue to get you that other 5%. Okay? That we can use contextual clues. Another example of contextual clues on a jump shot, and you think that he hit him, and the ball falls way short of the basket, and it's not rotating. It's rotating like the earth. It's not rotating like this. That's a contextual clue that he got hit. So if you don't like to use contextual clues when you don't have any certainty, but if you have like a high degree of certainty and you're not 150% sure, you can use a contextual clue sometimes to help you get that little extra edge to call the play. Does that make sense to everybody? Is there any questions? This is called a curl play. See primary responsibility. Not on this play, because on this play, in our system, we would have the trail call this play because he's on that defender. So if Adrian could just run it back, see how the slot would have the person with the headband. So the trail has number 24 because he's been on that defender the longest. The slot or the center could help on the play if he sees it. Yes, but we don't mind the trail calling this play either because he's been on that defender number 24 the longest. Does that make sense? Well, he's been watching 24. The trail's watching 24 the whole time. He's watching 24 the whole time. He's been on that defender the longest. And like we talked earlier, we like the person on the defender the longest to call the play, just like we like the guy who sees the entire movie to call a play instead of somebody that only sees the last 5 minutes of a movie. All right? So when you're talking about it with your crews and you're talking about discipline and habits and how you want to approach the game tonight, always talk about the need for teamwork and trust, okay? Teamwork and trust. Always talk about the ability that you have to trust your teammates, that they will be closed to you, will be open to them. And in our system, our triangular-based system, we have a lead and we have a slot. I mean, a lead and we have a trail. That's the base of our triangle. The tip of our triangle is our slot or center. So the triangle goes like that. And when we rotate, we try and keep the triangle intact because when we realize when the triangle is intact, we create our best angles to approach the game and see plays clearly. All right? So that's why we like to have the base of the triangle always be aligned, and we like to be able to rotate. I went to a game and I did an article for a magazine, and I was watching our officials one night, and they were so precise in their rotations that when the lead started and stopped, our trail going to slot stopped. It was like they were dancing. It was poetry, watching them work the system perfectly at a perfect pace throughout the game, creating angles and keeping angles throughout the game by all being in synchronization throughout the entire game. All right, next play. So this is an excellent pickup. The lead does not see the play, but the slot stays with. In our system, if you start with that defender, you take that defender all the way to the basket. And as you can see here, the defender goes A to B. The slot does an excellent job of staying with number 41 all the way to the basket. And you can see it here how he makes leg contact. Finds the point of contact. So if you run it back just a little bit, Adrian, you find a point of contact early. The slot does an excellent job. He starts with that defender, takes that defender all the way to the basket. He identifies the point of contact, the leg on leg, gets to it early. The lead gets too close, can't see it, and is able to pick up that leg on leg contact. Watch the left leg of the defender hit the left leg of the offensive player here. Watch it right here. See it? Hip on hip, illegal contact. The slot does an excellent job staying with the point of contact and getting to the point of contact. Are there any questions? I know we have, I guess, 8 minutes left, and I want to make sure that I cover any questions that we have. Anybody concerned about anything that that they want to go over before we move forward? Is there anyone? Adrian, are we okay?
I think it looks perfect because we had so many questions, but you were addressing them along the way. So that was
Okay,
very good.
good. Okay, so we have time for a player or two more, don't we?
Yes, yes, we did.
Yeah, I know that I can be, I'm going to quiet, I love it so much. As you can see, I have passion for this. So please slow me down if you have any questions, anybody, okay? Because I want you all to get a little bit better through this. I want you all to get just a little bit better, just to take one or two notes where you can take it into your game and apply it next time you go out and say, that's what he's talking about. That's what he means. And I hope we can continue to do that. Okay? All right, next play. Okay, so this is A to B movement. The trail has an excellent view. See the A to B? That is not verticality. There's a drift. Sometimes the farthest person away from the play has the best angle on the play. Watch the trail, how good of an angle he has. See it? So, when you're officiating as a crew, the goal is to referee the three-point line and to own the paint with 6 eyes. All three people have to get their eyes in the paint to referee defenders to own that paint. Make that paint yours. Make it so we're not going to miss a play inside that paint. And remember one thing, proximity and primary are not always aligned. Sometimes the farthest person from the play can see the play most clearly. All right, even though on this play, you'll see when Adrian reruns it, how the lead and the slot are kind of like straight lined and they can't really see. Right? A to B movement. But the trail has a perfect view to A to B movement. And what's the trail's tell? Can anybody tell me why the trail went to number 40? We talked about it earlier. Why would he referee number 40? Why would he get the number 40 early? Does number 40 do something? Right? What does he do? He moves first, right? Right? He moves first. So he's on him early. His tell is first movement. He's able to see the A to B movement, which is illegal, and call the illegal contact. So when you're officiating, just because you're the farthest person from the play, you might have the best open look on the play. Okay? So if you have an open look on the play, trail has open angle and stationary mode. I love that. I love that. You made my day right there, Will. Just made my day. So he's stationary and still. He has an open angle. And he's able to see the A to B drift and call the illegal contact. Proximity and primary, don't let that ever focus in on you. Don't let anybody say, the only people that think that doesn't matter are coaches and players. They're going, well, you're standing right next to the play. That doesn't matter. Sometimes the farthest person away from the play has the best angle on the play. And that's why it's important for all three officials with 2 eyes each to own that paint with 6 eyes, collectively as a team, to own that paint by making sure whoever that play is open to calls that play. All right? And that becomes the second thing I want to talk about is the willingness and the courage to call that play, even though you're not the closest person to the play, knowing that the play is illegal. Okay? Make sure you do that when you officiate. All right, one more play maybe? 12:57, we're right? Same play, right? Same play. Straight line, A to B, turns. It's kind of straight lines, the lead and the slot. Proximity and primary don't matter. The trail has a still and stationary look on the play and is able to judge the A to B movement and call the illegal contact. Excellent. Excellent. A to B, first movement, drift, turn, get to that defender early. The other thing about verticality is people who jump straight up cannot turn and deliver a blow. They have to remain vertical and straight. Don't allow defenders to jump up and turn and try and deliver a blow. That is illegal contact. That is not verticality. And if you watch the defender here, you'll watch him deliver a blow. If Adrian can run it back, you'll watch him deliver a blow with his right hip. He actually delivers illegal contact with his right hip because he turns. He tries to. Don't be fooled by people with their arms up. Just because their arms are up doesn't make them legal. Okay? Defenders try and fool us by getting their arms up. Don't let them fool you. If they drift or they turn, they're illegal. Watch them turn. Boom. Hits him right in the hip. That is not verticality. But he tries to disguise it by getting his arms in the air and trying to fool you that he is legal. Excellent play. All right, Adrian, is there anything we want to go over as far as questions, or was it too much? Did everybody enjoy themselves? Was I Todd, I don't think players understand that proximity doesn't always translate.
I think that was perfect. You still have some comments that are coming on right now in the chat.
Todd, and I agree with Todd, but Todd, that's what players don't understand. Players and the participants don't understand the way we officiate and the way we handle our business. We don't ask them how they run their plays, okay? And we have our own plays that we're running, okay? So when a player or something says to you, well, you're the farthest person from the play, and how can you call that play? You say, that's our system. That's the way we work, because proximity and primary doesn't matter. Sometimes the farthest person from the play has the best luck. And we're trying to get all these plays right out here, and we're going to own this paint with 6 eyes to the best of our ability. All right? And I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. And I know you're going to have 4 more sessions with some great tutors with Joey Crawford and Bennett Salvatore. And thanks, Todd. And with some people that, were my mentors, people that I looked up to. Eunice, thank you, that I looked up to in my life. And you have some great content coming your way with those people, Eddie Rush, Monty. So you have some exciting times. I mean, I guess they got me off the list early, right, Adrian?
Well, to be honest, we want you back. So
I guess they got me off the Philippe. Thank you, Agnes. It means a lot to me that you guys got on it, that people got on, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you ever have any questions, just please reach out to Adrian. He has my email, and I'll get back to him as quickly as I can. I'm not the fastest person getting back, but I'm pretty good at getting back to everyone. If you have any questions on what we discussed today or anything that's not in focus, right? Because the thing about officiating is when people make it clear to you and define what your roles are and define what your responsibilities are, it's easier to officiate. It's when somebody says, okay, just go out there and try and get as many plays ready as you can. That doesn't work, right? You have to have a defined role. Thanks, Dawn. Everybody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate how excited. I mean, as Adrian knows, I kind of my passion for this is immense. I just hope that we could just make anybody just incrementally better here. Even if you got a little bit better over the last hour, it would mean the world to me. It would mean the world to me, because I take pride in in how we do this. I take pride in officiating, and the work that you getting on here and spending the time to get on here shows me, that you want to do the work and you want to get better. I mean, and that's exciting times to us. And like whatever Adrian needs, we're going to offer, because we want to like gather and scatter, right? Gather and scatter. We want to scatter the word, because we really believe that we have a lot to offer. And we'd like to offer it up.
We appreciate it a lot, Mark. Thank you so much. And all the information is super important. I mean, by far, I don't know that much at all about officiating, but right now I've learned so much. And I remember that time that you told me about. Now I know the name is contextual clues, when the ball is going, spinning, rotating like the earth.
Yes,
And
we talked about that in Italy, remember?
yes,
It's
yes,
still true to today. When you have like 95% of it and you need that 5%, right? That sometimes can get you just across the finish line, right? Versus you don't want to have like 5% of it and take a guess. But when you have like 95%, man, I think he hit him. And that ball floats out like a knuckleball, or that ball's floating like the earth. Call to play.
that is something that, I mean, as a player or as a coach, you would never know until you hear it and like see it through the eyes of a referee. So it's very important. Thank you so much. And I can tell like all the referees enjoyed it a lot. And I love that part from the refereeing body, that they are always super engaged with the right questions, just like Todd, and asking
I
exactly.
was excited. It was a great format you had. I was able to see the questions and kind of like the one question, but he shouldn't have rotated, right?
Yep.
That spurred me to think, well, this is a good teaching point. This is the 3 times you should rotate, right? So they helped me. The questions helped me as much as me answering the questions. Does that make sense?
That makes
Like I was
sense.
able, I was able to get the questions and go, well, that's something I can talk about. I forgot to talk about that, right? And
Exactly.
I thought the interaction and that was just terrific. I thought the gallery was, they get an A+. I might
Yeah.
get a C-, but they get an A+. All right, they were
No,
terrific.
no, no. It's very good, and I love that format as well. You gotta thank Oakland on that one, because you can see the questions right there, and
I thought that was terrific.
that
I
helps.
just, and please, like I insist, if you have questions moving forward, I don't want to flood Adrian with 100 emails, but he can, if he is. We were a little confused about what you said here, or we didn't fully understand. And sometimes you're on a chat like this, you don't really want to ask the question, but
Yep.
you'll do it, later. And I encourage that, because I don't want anybody to leave here. I want everything to be in focus for people. Okay.
And if you
That,
see the questions, I mean, they'll stay right there, and we can address them later on. We'll make sure we get all those questions and send them over to you, and then send them back to the participants, Mark. And thanks also to OWQLO and John and Jorge, who's right here with me, because he said everything together.
I
And he
know you guys are
pretty
joined
well.
at the hip.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for having me. It
Thank
meant a
you,
lot to me.
everyone, for joining. And we'll see you again on OWQLO. And this is going to be on July 6th, our next session. If you have any questions, just please send your questions to juniormba@owqlo.com. And we'll be there ready. And again, a pleasure to have you, Mark, and hope to see you soon.
Pleasure to be here. Everybody be safe, okay? Take care of yourself. Be safe out there, okay? Thank you.